At 9:58 a.m., a Marine Corps AH-1Z Viper gunship tore south across the Caribbean at 150 knots, locked on a cartel boat that had no idea it was seconds from being blown apart. The Viper, basically a flying armory with an attitude problem, had lifted off from the USS Wuima just 15 minutes earlier. 12 minutes from now, the boat would find out why you don't pick a fight with the US military. Like trying to outrun Usain Bolt. The pilot's HUD showed the numbers. 18 nautical miles to target, closing at 195 knots. Weapons release in 7 minutes. The little boat didn't know what was coming. From the north, a missile called Democracy sprinted in at 150 knots. Satellite locked, spotted by spy planes, and steered by a Marine who hadn't missed since flight school. On his FLIR screen, the engine's heat blazed like a lighthouse, an easy target. 2 bright white heat spots cut north across the cool blue Caribbean, thinking they had a chance. Far above, a Navy P-8 Poseidon cruised at 20,000 feet, tracking them with the calm of a lifeguard watching kids splash in the shallow end. The P-8 is what happens when Boeing takes a 737 and swaps passenger seats for $400 million worth of sensors and spy tech. Its AN/APY-10 radar had already pegged the boat's shape and speed as textbook smuggler behavior. Twin outboards pushed 45 knots north from Venezuela on the Caribbean Express. I-95 for smugglers. The P-8 dropped sonobuoys to listen in. The feed came back sharp. 2 Mercury 300s, a little out of sync. Guess the cartel cut corners on maintenance again. In the Viper's cockpit, the pilot entered target coordinates into his TSS-linked helmet display to cue weapons. The TSS, like Iron Man's visor for helicopter pilots, uses a $200,000, 4.6-pound helmet to beam targeting data and sensor overlays onto his face, letting him designate a target simply by looking and turning his head. The flare pod was linked to his helmet so the camera tracked his gaze. Its IR was razor sharp. Could spot a candle at 5 kilometers. The Viper wasn't there to be polite. 8 AGM-114R Hellfires, 4 on each wing stub, primed to fire. They chose the AGM-114R Romeo because its warhead defeats nearly any target. It simply obliterates whatever it hits. Each missile is approximately 108 pounds, 64 inches long, and costs about $150,000. Basically, an Ivy League lecture at Mach 1.3 for someone who didn't sign up. The pilot had already keyed the laser PRF to 1113, the pulse repetition frequency that serves as the laser's ID code. The missile locks only that one laser beam and ignores everything else, sun glare or stray reflections. After hard lessons, militaries give each laser a unique PRF code. It's a deadly phone number. Only the missile with that code will answer. The helicopter wasn't just packing Hellfires. That chin turret had an M197 3-barrel 20mm cannon with 650 rounds, able to swing 120 degrees to either side. From 2 kilometers out, it could shred a small boat like it was cardboard. Why use small arms when a missile does calculus mid-flight? Everything's on link 16, the military's group chat, but for live targeting, not memes. The P-8 feeds real-time intel. Boat 45 knots, course 350 degrees, and roughly 15 minutes before it reaches Venezuelan waters. Hellfire impact in 12 minutes. Their escape math worked about as well as a screen door on a submarine. By 10:06, the Viper was in range. The pilot armed the TSS laser designator, and the invisible boat was suddenly drenched in 20 millijoules of focused light at 1.064 microns. Like God aiming a billion-dollar flashlight. Humans can't see the laser, but the Hellfire Seeker treats it like a neon billboard. The boat was already dodging 45-degree course changes every 30 seconds. TSS AutoTrack held the laser on the boat, using predictive algorithms that outguessed the crew's maneuvers. The beam reflected off the fiberglass, making a bright 2-meter sparkle pattern the Hellfire Seeker could home in on. The boat now looked like a disco ball for missiles. Up top, the pilot made micro-adjustments through smart tech. Electromagnetic coils tracked every tiny head movement, sending data to the turret computer 60 times a second for pinpoint aim. The system is so precise it can notice movements as tiny as 0.1 degrees. When the pilot looks at something, the FLIR turret under the nose snaps to match his view in less than 200 milliseconds. It uses the same idea as those motion capture suits in Hollywood, but instead of making CGI characters dance, it's aiming weapons. The pilot just looks at a target, clicks to lock, then can glance to another while the first stays tagged. The flight computer keeps the lock steady, compensating for aircraft motion, vibration, even the pilot's breathing. For the shot, he selected LOB, lock on before launch to ensure the missile had a firm target. There's LOL, lock on after launch, where you fire first and the missile finds the laser later. It's the gutsy option. For a boat doing the cha-cha across open water, LOBL, lock on before launch, made sense. The missile had the target locked before leaving the rail, like loading turn-by-turn directions before you start, not winging it. Next, attack profile. Top attack climbs, then dives, perfect for punching thin tank roofs. Direct attack flies straight in. For a squishy fiberglass boat, direct attack was the no-brainer. He aimed for the waterline, sink it fast. Fuse set to instant contact. The AGM-114R can use delayed fuses for bunker busting, but a fiberglass bow gives almost no protection, about as useful as a bikini in a paintball fight. Instant contact would make the 20-pound warhead do its job the moment it hit. Inside the chosen Hellfire, freedom vibes were in full swing. The missile's seeker head was chilled to about -200 degrees Celsius using compressed argon gas. This supercooling cuts the detector's background heat so the seeker can pick up even the faintest laser reflections through its germanium lens. The seeker was already locked onto the 1-1-1-3 PRF pattern, shrugging off gun glint, sun, and wave reflections, and every other false trail. It could spot the laser sparkle inside a 30-degree field of view, waiting to be launched like an expensive, punctual DoorDash. Inside, pre-launch checks ran. The ring laser gyro spun up to approximately 40,000 RPM, primed to track tiny motions throughout flight. The missile's computer powered on, loading the flight control laws. Basically the physics rules that would guide it all the way in. It ran a self-test, checking 147 different things in under a second. Everything came back green. The missile was healthy and ready to go. Range to target, 5.5 kilometers. Perfect. The Hellfire's max range is 8 kilometers, but at about 5.5 kilometers, it hits with more speed and punch. Laser lock was rock steady. Despite the boat's evasive moves, every weapons cue stayed green. The pilot held 2,000 feet to cut vibration. Then the call came over his headset. Viper 21, weapons free. That's cleared hot. Permission to deliver some American diplomacy. At 10:09 hours, the pilot released the Hellfire. Its solid rocket motor made 500 pounds of thrust, pushing the 108-pound missile to Mach 1.3 in 2.5 seconds. That's 20 grams, enough to turn a watermelon into a smoothie. The missile's electronics shrugged off the shock and its autopilot grabbed control. Its brain read the scene. Laser bearing 186 degrees, depression 12 degrees, launch altitude 2,000 feet. Missile speed Mach 1.1, range to target 5,100 meters. It climbed, then dove to strike at the best angle, at 20 millisecond, 50 hertz. Intervals, it retargeted with proportional navigation, steering where the target will be. Like a quarterback, throw where they'll be. Except the receiver was just a fiberglass boat, about to have the worst day ever. As the Hellfire sped up, it hit transonic buffeting, that insane rattling when you punch through the sound barrier. The autopilot reacted instantly. Thin little actuators worked overtime, twitching constantly to keep the missile steady. The rocket motor burned fuel at about 12 pounds every second. Each pound burned at roughly 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit inside the combustion chamber. Air rubbing against the missile heated its skin to about 900 degrees Fahrenheit. The missile rose in a smooth arc to 2,500 feet, trading speed for height like a roller coaster climbing before the big drop. Small steering fins at the front made tiny adjustments. A degree here, half a degree there. Every little move was calculated to keep the missile on the perfect flight path. It then pitched into a 35-degree dive, gravity dragging it back through Mach 1. Inside the warhead, the FMU-139 smart fuse was armed. Not a mere impact switch, but a sensor fusion controller that monitors multiple inputs and chooses the precise millisecond to detonate. It was configured for instantaneous contact. It would go off the instant the crush switch felt a hit. No delay, no waiting for penetration, just the explosives turning into pure chaos. The missile's seeker never lost that laser sparkle. As the missile fell, the sparkle swelled from a tiny dot into a clear shape. Now the guidance could resolve the boat's outline. 5 seconds to impact. The missile's navigation crunched data like a student remembering homework. Relentless. At 3 seconds, the control fins locked into trim. At 1 second, the seeker grabbed its last clear image. A white hole ripped open in the fiberglass in an instant. The missile slammed in at 995 miles per hour, its 108-pound mass and speed delivering catastrophic energy. The crush switch tripped, and the FMU-139 fired the detonation command in 0.001 seconds. The 20-pound multi-purpose warhead detonated, its blast roughly equal to 28 pounds of TNT. The impact blast hit over 200 psi, enough to turn steel into confetti. The fiberglass hull never stood a chance. The TSS caught it all in crisp thermal footage. A blinding white flash that overloaded the IR for a full second, then a perfect 100-meter debris ring. What used to be a boat, now officially future reef material. The larger pieces, like an engine cover here and half a seat there, hit the water first. The smaller fragments drifted down like pricey confetti for the next 30 seconds. Viper 21, good effect on target, vessel destroyed. The pilot said it in that calm, professional tone of someone who just turned $1 million smuggling operation into a lesson learned the hard way. The helicopter made one circle to confirm nothing larger than a beach ball was still floating, then turned north toward Uema. The entire engagement, from launch to total vaporization, took 8.3 seconds, less time than ordering a coffee at Starbucks. The Trump administration's message to smugglers had now been delivered at the speed of sound. And unlike most government programs, this one came in under budget and ahead of schedule.